Welcome to the Single Father Podcast. I am your host, Kendall Donaker. This podcast is dedicated for anyone out there who's dealing with mental health and fatherhood. You'll hear about my struggles, my defeats, my victories, my highs, my lows, my triumphs, my tribulations, and everything in between. I like to call this a collection of journal entries into my struggle and adapting to single fatherhood. Without further ado, let's take a look inside my journal, the Single Father Podcast. You're listening to The Single Father with Kendall Donaker. Guys, I'm really excited about today's episode. I got a really amazing person, actress Barkley Harper. Really excited about her. She's in my opinion, she's an upcoming star. She has really great screen presence. She's amazing to talk to. She's bright, charismatic, funny, charming even. Can a woman be charming? I think so. But she's great, and I'm really excited for this episode. I'm really excited for you guys to listen to it. She was really gracious with her time. She was really responsive. And we didn't necessarily dive too deep on the mental health realm, but it was nice to just talk to her and get to know her a little bit. I guess you could call it one of our off the script episodes, but VentPack, we vent about everything in regards to culture or just everyday life. And I really felt like I got to know her a little bit, and she's a really kind person, and I hope we keep in touch. She's really cool. Guys, VentPack, of course, is about, venting to a pack of people who have your back. I like to just share and express feelings and emotions. This is a really cathartic experience for me just to have people on the show and learn more about them and, their thoughts on everyday lives of social anxiety, peer pressure, mental health, and maybe social influences, and that might, turn wrong or good, or, you kind of get what I mean. We have an app in development. It's a mental health app. It will be called VentPack as well. More details are coming soon, but if, under this video, there'll be a link to support the podcast. Any small donation helps if you want to go ahead and, support me or the app. It'll be really cool. And I really want to bring more people on the show. I really want to, dive deep into the mental health realm. I got some great people lined up. I'm hoping this goes well. For better or for worse, here we go. Hello.
Hey.
Hey, how are you?
I'm well. How are you? It worked.
I know. Finally. It took a while to get you here.
I know. I'm sorry. It's been absolutely insane these past, I want to say 2 weeks, but I think it's been like the past 2 years that I've just been I'm quite busy.
I bet. Oh, so why don't you start off by telling the listeners who you are and what exactly you have been doing these past two years, because I'm sure it's been amazing.
Yeah. So I'm Barkley Harper, and I am a professional actress. And ultimately, for these past 2 years, I've been venturing over into more of the film TV work. Prior to a year and a half ago or so, I was working in New York City off Broadway and primarily doing musical theater. And by way of doing that, I started studying with Susan Batson. She is known for being Nicole Kidman's coach, Juliette Binoche. She just worked with Lady Gaga and Bradley Cooper on A Star Is Born. And I started working with her privately and went to her studio full time. So when I started working with her, I started getting more into film TV work and moved out to LA, worked full time as an actor out there. And I've been out in Atlanta now for 3 months, and it has been pretty much nonstop, which has been really exciting. I've done about, I want to say 8 short films and 7 commercials and just a couple little things here and there.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
So tell me, have you always been interested in acting?
I have always been interested in acting. So it's kind of funny. I sang opera is my background. I was an opera singer for many, many years. And I always wanted to perform in some capacity. And I kind of just found opera randomly when I was about 12. And that was the first thing that I ever got paid for performing to do. And so I think I kind of stuck with that. But then somewhere down the line, I kind of realized, oh, I don't know that I necessarily want to be an opera singer, but I still wanted to perform. And so acting, I
Wow.
found that. Yeah,
So tell me, you can sing then, right?
I can.
Okay. So, and I assume you wouldn't give me a little tidbit right now.
It's so loud. I don't know that I like feel nervous. I'll blow your ears out, but I'll move the mic away. See what
Yeah.
you can do. Okay.
Just give me a little tidbit.
All right. You want to pick a language? French, German, Italian.
Wow. Oh, I'm gonna go with Italian.
Italian. All right. Voi che sapete che cosa
That was
Little taste.
beautiful. That was,
Yeah.
that was beautiful. That made me want to go grab some red wine right
Feeling classy.
now. It really extreme. So you lived in LA for a little bit, correct?
Yes, correct.
So tell me about the transition from LA to Atlanta. How did that start for you?
Um, well, I actually had some family friends out in Atlanta that have been telling me for like a little over a year now that everything was booming out here. I really should try it out and la da da. And I was like, oh, Atlanta, like who wants to live in Atlanta, right?
Right.
I'm in LA. I've lived in the best city in the whole world, New York City. Why would I go to Atlanta? And they were like, just come out, just come visit, stay a few days. So I came out, and by day two, I was just like, I could live here. I love it. I really could. So I went ahead, I emailed literally every single agency in Atlanta. And by the end of it, I had 9 auditions with agencies before I had moved here. And I got an offer from every single one. So,
Wow.
yeah. So I was really, really lucky and like so excited to come out here because I felt like if the agents were excited about me, then that's a good sign. Um,
Absolutely.
yeah. So I actually had a month left on my lease on my studio apartment in Koreatown. So I went ahead and just packed all my stuff up and I bought a ticket. And 2 weeks later, I was living in Atlanta.
Oof,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah.
You like have a hustle in you that very impressive. And,
Thank you.
and you know what else too? Like I know how hard it is. I pursued acting at one point, and then I ended up being passionate about other things. But I
Mhm.
know how hard it is. You have to do this portfolio, have a whole bunch of credits, like, and really like present yourself in a way that people would like, and it's super hard work.
Yeah, it
So
is.
how do you think you got really like successful in it? Did it come from Broadway specifically, or?
No, actually, I don't think really. I mean, they say that they like theater credits and stuff, but I really don't know that that really helped me in terms of networking or anything. I do think training wise that the theater really helped me a lot. And so that's a really good foundation that I'm happy that I have training wise. Um, but I think what helped me get so far so fast is who I trained with. So Susan Batson is a legend. And Margie Haber, I worked with in Los Angeles, and she works with like Halle Berry and Brad Pitt, and she's amazing. So
Wow.
I think that studying, I actually took a whole year. So I really didn't start auditioning for anything until not this last October, but the one before. And prior to that, I was only studying. So I went to class literally from 10 a.m. until 3 a.m. the next day. We'd be in class. And so just studying so much for a whole year, I think really put me ahead of the game that when I started auditioning, people were impressed. And by the time I was hitting sets, people were really happy working with me. And by keeping a good reputation, I've been able to work consistently.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Tell me, what about your support team? Do you have your parents supporting you on this as well?
Yeah, I'm actually super lucky because I have an amazing mom. I'm really, really super lucky that I have an amazing mother, and her mother is a, a goddess as well. So they are just so emotionally supportive. And any time that I need to talk about anything, be it I'm excited or be it my bed breaks and I don't know how to fix it by myself and I'm FaceTiming them while they're walking me through how to pull my bed apart and put it back together again, I'm very supported by them. So, and that's really key to find positive support systems that you lock down in being in a career that's so, I don't want to say negative because there's so much positivity surrounding it, but in a career that is so it's so flip floppy. One minute it's up, and then the next minute you're hearing no 100 times before you get another yes. So it's really important to have positivity.
Yeah, absolutely. It
Yeah.
can be a really rough industry.
hmm
So what would you say has been the hardest part for you in this career so far?
The hardest part for me is getting rest and taking care of myself because there's literally always something you can be doing for it, be it writing or creating or going to class or watching a movie. There's every minute of every day, even going to the gym is part of our job, and taking care of your face and getting your nails done. Everything is part of the job. So just finding time to relax is really difficult for me. And I don't do well without sleep. I'm
Mhm.
one of those people I kind of need at least 6 hours. And there are a lot of nights where I go with like maybe 3 or 4. So
Understandable though.
yeah.
What do you do? What do you like to do for like fun or like what relieves you? What makes you happy?
I really actually, I love yoga. I love doing yoga. I love running. I love hanging out with my dog. I have a 13-year-old dog that is blind, and she is the absolute joy of my life. So, kind of anything to do with her is really fun for me.
That's adorable. I'm looking for a puppy. I really want one, but I kind of just want someone to just give me one. I don't want to buy one, but
Well, funny you say that. My roommates, they just found a rescue dog that was pregnant and had puppies. I can ship one to you.
really, well, we will definitely have to talk about that. What kind of dogs are they?
They're mutts. They're really cute. They're terrier mixes of some sort.
Oh, I'm interested. So, right now in Atlanta, can you tell me about some like maybe upcoming projects that you have going on? Tell me a little bit about
Yeah, without being, I mean, I'm signed on NDAs on all of them, but I've got right now this weekend, I'm shooting a drama that has to do with identity theft. It's a really cool one. And then I've got another one coming up in Arizona that is a prequel to a feature film. And it's written by Colton Reed Dietz. It's a really, really awesome script. And I'm actually starring in that one. So
Really?
so that's a really fun one for me. It's really exciting. And then the next one after that I'm in discussion with is out in Los Angeles. And so I'd be coming off of the set in Arizona and flying straight from there to Los Angeles to work. So those are the next 3 projects that I have. 2 of them are horror films, which I
Oh,
love.
I like it.
Me too.
If you haven't heard about Anchor by Spotify, it's the easiest way to make a podcast with everything you need in one place. Let me explain. Anchor has the tools to allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer. When hosting on Anchor, you can distribute your podcast on listening platforms like Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and more. It's everything you need in one place. And best of all, Anchor is totally free. Download the Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started.
So what you basically are saying is I get like exclusive screen passes to go see it.
Oh, of course.
So what has been your like biggest accomplishment so far in this industry as well? We spoke about some of the, like the hardest things. What would you say is like the best thing for you so far?
Yeah. So it's funny because the best thing so far that's happened to me has been filming The Quiet Room. And
Mm,
it was the first film that I actually ever did. And so it's kind of funny that that's been the biggest and best thing I've ever done. We're on tour right now with a couple different festivals. We've gotten into, I think, like 11 festivals. Working with Sam Weinman, who was the director, was just amazing. I mean, it was so refreshing to be on a set and have, I mean, this was my first film TV set. Like, I hadn't done anything. And he didn't know that, because I was like, oh, I'm not gonna let anybody know. You know, I'm a veteran. This is like my 100th set, of course.
Of course, yeah.
Right, of course, of course.
Own it.
I do this all the time. And so we went in, and he was so collaborative and so healthy in terms of giving me what I needed. I got to play this cool pyromaniac in a psych ward. So it was a really deep character with rawness and vulnerability. And he just made it such a safe and fun experience. And I got to shoot with, do you watch RuPaul's Drag Race by chance?
I'm not gonna lie, I don't.
You don't? Okay. Well, Katya and Alaska Thunderfuck are two of the main queens on it. And they were both in that film. And so was Chris Salvatore from Eating Out, and Kit Williamson, who has his own Netflix TV show and was in Mad Men for a while. And Jamal Douglas, who's an up-and-coming actor, but he is fantastic. And he actually just won an award at Film Out for The Quiet Room. So it was a really, it was a great experience, not only to do, but the afterward of it, and of us going on tour and being able to do all the press stuff has been really fun.
Do you ever get starstruck?
I'm trying to think. I met Mr. Big from Sex and the City one time, and that one really got me. I'm not really even sure why, but it did.
Understandable. I'm not familiar with the show, but I assume he's a dreamboat. Is that right?
I mean, he got Carrie to kind of settle down, which was a feat in itself in Sex and the City.
Okay.
Yeah. You know. Yeah.
So, you know, you're in Atlanta right now. Do you have plans to? I mean, you're always traveling, but is that where you're setting up camp right now?
Yeah, this is home right now. Yeah, it's home. I really like it. I actually really, really like it. I didn't think that I would like it this much. And I was kind of thinking, oh, I'll go there for a year and then I'll go back to Los Angeles or I'll go back to New York. But it's just a great place to live. And if anything, I think the industry is growing here. I think a lot of the time before, they would do a lot of the little roles out of Atlanta and then they'd go to Los Angeles or New York for the bigger roles. But now that people from LA and New York are moving to Atlanta, they're not really having to outsource. We're cheaper to hire in Atlanta.
Right.
So
I like it. I think one of my favorite shows films in Atlanta, and it's gonna sound pretty girly, but I like, you know, have you heard of The Originals or The Vampire?
Yes, I have, of course. Do you know that they're making it? I think that they're making another one, like a spinoff.
Spinoff. I like it.
Yeah, spinoff, exactly.
I'm really invested in those shows, so we'll have to talk about that. I don't want everyone knowing I watch it.
I won't tell anybody.
Right. So let me ask you this. I'm just gonna ask you a few questions. Do you prefer texting or do you prefer like face-to-face conversations?
Face-to-face conversations.
What would you say is like the biggest like problem in the dating world today?
Oh God. Expectations.
Elaborate.
Expectations. Everybody has all these expectations of what dating should be and what relationships should be. Girls expect guys to pay for the meals and to pick them up, and then the guys expect the girls to, you know, do whatever guys expect girls to do, and all these contingent, like these expectations that people cast on each other before they even go on the date. And I mean, even girls have those expectations of guys sometimes too. I'm not going to be a sexist here, but it's just, I feel like all these things that people go in with, instead of just being open to going with the flow and learning about people as you develop and learning what clicks and what doesn't click, and just being open to change and growth. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I definitely,
Yeah.
definitely. I think expectations are a huge problem, and one of my biggest things is I definitely prefer like face to face conversation because things can be like so misconstrued over text. You never
Oh,
really know
yeah. And that's like
personality.
another expectation thing too. It's like everybody's like, oh, well, I expected him to text me and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, well, maybe he was working really hard for a week. And then like finally things cleared up. And then he was like, oh, hey,
Right.
been busy. Sorry, that doesn't mean I hated you.
So let me ask you a question: Have you, we can just edit this part, out, but have you ever used Tinder, or have you ever had a negative interaction on Tinder?
I've never had a negative reaction on Tinder because I've used it, but I've never actually met up with anybody from Tinder.
So
And I'm not good at the messaging.
you're one of those people who ghost men. Men don't really like that.
I don't mean to, but I looked at I got Tinder again the other day,
Hmm.
and I looked at it and I had a message from like 2 years ago on it. And the guy had like written me like 8 messages and just been like, hey, how you doing? So I think you're ghosting me. Are you ever gonna write me back? And he was like funny. And I actually wrote him back and I was like, I am legitimately the worst. He was so funny in this thread that he had like kept going for 2 years. It was so funny.
That is wow. That's commitment, honestly, for
Oh,
2 years.
right. He hasn't written me back. I've been kind of checking just to see, but I think he finally gave up.
He might play the 2 year game. He hears back from you 2 years later. He's gonna respond to you.
Right. Right. Oh,
So,
man.
tell me about some of your friends out there. Do you have like, moving around every time? Do you have like a good friend group? Like,
Yeah, I got a really good friend group out here. It's funny because we're a lot of us are actors naturally.
right,
But this one group of friends that I made out here, they're actually producing and directing and writing and creating stuff as well. I mean, I'm a creator too. I blog and I write a little bit, and I've been getting more into direction, but they're really producing worthwhile stuff. I'm actually on set with them this weekend. So it's been fun to develop a group that I'm really good friends with, but we also have a working relationship together.
that's awesome.
Yeah.
Especially people who can like understand your industry as well and understand what you're
Hmm.
going through.
Yeah.
So, writing, directing, acting, which one would you have to choose for the rest of your life?
I was actually thinking about that the other day because I really love acting. Like I absolutely love it, but I really enjoy direction.
What kind of
Like
like leads you towards that?
honestly, I was just kind of helping my friends with their auditions and self tapes and coaching while I was in Arizona. I coached some of the kids that were working with my old singing teacher and helping them with their songs for this competition. And I just really enjoyed being able to work with actors. So, and in more of a leadership way, because when you're a working actor to actor, it's completely inappropriate to tell them, well, this is my vision and
Right,
this is how I see it, because that's the director's job to make any changes.
right,
So, but I really like making adjustments and seeing what people are going to do with it and kind of play with that. So, I mean, all in all, I would like to win my Oscar for Best Actress, but it'd also be cool to throw one in there for direction.
well, you definitely have my vote.
Yeah. Thank you.
So what kind of things are you writing? Like what stories or anything? Is it life? Is it reality, science fiction? What is it?
I more write for personal, like more poetry and stuff like that.
I love
Yeah.
poetry.
Yeah. At this point, it's personal. And then I'll probably share at some point in my life. But for now, I'm still developing that art.
And then what kind of leads you? What roles are you gravitating towards? It sounds like you've been into like horror or like more of these
Hmm.
deeper roles. Is
Hmm.
that kind of what you're into?
Yeah. I love the deeper stuff. I love people with problems. I love addicts. I love people with mental instabilities. I think that they're really a group of people that get a bad reputation and get a lot of judgment cast upon them. So I love being able to represent them and say, listen, they're people too.
Right. I agree. One of the things I'm a huge advocate on is like mental illness,
Hmm.
and I don't feel like people pay much attention to that, and and understand that people really just need someone to speak to and talk to.
Hmm. Hmm.
And I think that's a lot of the reasons why like shows like 13 Reasons Why are really successful.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
I think it just talks about something like a taboo like no one wants to talk about.
Oh yeah. Well, and everybody's been there. Everybody's been in a place that they didn't feel happy or that they felt sad. And it's like sometimes you just gotta let people own it, Just own
Right.
it and don't judge them for it.
Right. There's a show that my friend introduced me to. I'm not sure if you're a huge Netflix person. I definitely am.
Hmm.
I don't have a lot of I have no life. But I watched a show called BoJack Horseman. Have you ever heard of
Oh yeah, I ever heard of BoJack.
it? Right. And it's this silly little cartoon show, but
Yeah.
it makes me sad sometimes. It talks about like real stuff. It's like this horse is like
Mhm.
really depressed and I want to help him.
Yeah. I totally get it.
But I definitely appreciate you being on the phone with me today. It was amazing. It was hard to get you here, but you did it anyway, and I appreciate you.
We did it.
I
You
know.
were determined, and I was like, I'm determined too. We're going to find 30 minutes, and we found it. I'm super
No,
happy.
I definitely appreciate it, and we
Yeah.
definitely talk more about that dog because I think I'm leaning towards it.
Right? They're very cute.
So let everyone know where they can find you at.
You can find me on Instagram at Barkley Harper, and I'm the same across all platforms: Twitter, Facebook, and my personal website, Barkley like Charles, and then Harper.com.
Perfect. Well, Barkley,
Cool.
thank you very, very much. I appreciate you, and I will shoot you a message shortly after.
Thank you. I appreciate you as well. We'll talk
All
soon.
right. Bye.
All right. Bye-bye.
The podcast you just heard was published with Anchor. Got something you want to say to the creator of this show? Send them a voice message using the Anchor app, free for iOS and Android.